Thank you for joining us on ABC 22 following Monday Night Football. However, it was not a happy Monday night for the Cincinnati Bengals. Matt Digby following the game. A lot of optimism, though, before kickoff. Now those positive feelings, though, Matt, are gone.
Yeah, they are. That mood of excitement was present for the first quarter. Bengals got the ball, drove down the field, and scored a touchdown to open the scoring. But Washington quickly answered with a score of their own, at which point fans were thinking, okay, this will be a high-scoring game, a who blinks first type of situation. Well, Cincinnati missed a field goal on their next drive, had to settle for field goals later in the half. The Commanders continuing to excel on offense. Rookie QB Jaden Daniels not fazed by the high profile of Monday Night Football. And the Bengals are 0-3 for the first time since 2019. Now, it's a short week for Zach Taylor's team. They go on the road to Carolina next Sunday. Panthers coming off a win at Las Vegas, in which former Bengal Andy Dalton threw 3 touchdown passes. More on tonight's game coming up in a few minutes in sports. Back to you.
And if you can believe it, we're now 43 days away from this year's presidential election. That means, of course, several boards of elections around the Miami Valley are working hard to prepare for that big day. Kasha Hancock caught up with the Miami County Boards of Elections to talk about how they're preparing to make voting a smooth process for everyone.
They tell me preparing for big elections is a tedious process, but it's important to give people a stress-free process, even continuing to use new systems. I also spoke to political expert Professor Mark Clausen, who broke down some issues you'll see on November's ballot.
Beginning last week, Friday, we started sending out ballots. We sent from Miami County 100 total ballots to military and overseas voters.
Laura Bruns, director of the Miami County Board of Elections, tells me they've been working hard to ensure November 5th runs smoothly for all involved. She says they're using a system they've used before, but it's still relatively new to some voters. However, she says it makes a difference.
They will speed up the process of processing voters because we can scan the driver's license when the voter comes in, makes that process go much faster. The voter will get their ballot much quicker and they'll be able to go take it over to the ballot booth and vote it.
But as people are casting their votes, it's important for them to know what they will be voting for. That's why I caught up with Professor Mark Clausen of Cedarville University to break down a few issues, one of those being issue 1.
Gerrymandering is one of those negative terms that's applied to efforts to change district boundaries for the purposes of electing state representatives or congressional representatives. When you gerrymander, the argument goes, you're drawing those districts in such a way that you favor one party or the other.
Clausen says gerrymandering is more complicated than it appears on the ballot, adding it could potentially impact the makeup of Congress. The Ohio Senate race is another big issue voters can expect to see on their ballot. Clausen explains the potential impact this race between Sherrod Brown and Bernie Moreno could have.
If the Senate becomes Republican, and then Republicans begin to pass legislation that's favorable to Republicans, and if the House goes Republican, and if the presidency goes Republican, then you'll see a big change.
You are encouraged to make sure your voter registration is up to date, and the deadline to do this is October 7th. Back to you.
Now you can find all our coverage of issues on the ballot plus details on candidates at Dayton247now.com. Just click on the election heading in the news tab. And we are continuing our team coverage tonight on the Haitian migrant influx in Springfield. Right now, health officials are working on ways to give everyone in Springfield better access to health care. Eli Burgett spent the day in Springfield and explains what they're now working on.
Governor DeWine has recognized that health care in Springfield is struggling due to the recent influx of Haitian immigrants. The state has already begun sending resources to help fix some of those problems. And today, local health organizations share how much those resources are needed.
Well, here in Springfield and Clark County, I can tell you a phrase I've said multiple times: we are building the plane and flying it at the same time. And when you do that, that requires patience.
The city of Springfield has been hit hard by the recent population boom brought on by the influx of Haitian immigrants. And one of the areas that has been hit the hardest is local health care. Mercy Health in Springfield recently said in part, quote, "Similar to other organizations in Clark County, we have seen and felt the impact of a rapid influx in our growing population, growth which we see reflected in our increased patient volumes." Specifically, we have seen high utilization of women's health, emergency, and primary care services, and we continue to work tirelessly to meet the growing demands of our community with compassion. When Governor DeWine learned about these issues, he pledged $2.5 million of state funds to go towards expanding primary care in Clark County. The first step of that plan is installing a new supplementary mobile health clinic in Springfield.
Kind of big picture, we want to cut down on wait times for everybody. What we're seeing is there are wait times in the healthcare system. There's wait times to get vaccinated at the health department. There are wait times other places.
The mobile health clinic will offer health assessments, vaccinations, lab testing, and a variety of other primary care services. The state and county health departments say that this mobile clinic is meant to make sure that everyone in the area has access to quality health care. And on top of that, the county hopes that this provides some of their new residents a chance to get accustomed to the American healthcare system.
That healthcare system in Haiti is not fully developed. So as people come here, my message is understand how our healthcare system works and then avail yourself of some of those preventative things so we can head things off before they become bigger problems.
The mobile health clinic is set to hit the streets of Springfield later this week, but Governor DeWine says that this is only a small first step in their overall plans to improve health care for Clark County. The state is currently working with county officials to establish a more permanent health care facility sometime in the near future. Back to you.
2 deadly shootings in one weekend in the city of Dayton, and tonight we're learning new information. We now know 26-year-old Jeremiah Lyle was shot and killed after a shooting near US 35 and James H. McGee Boulevard. Right now, Dayton police are investigating. And then on Sunday, 36-year-old Jarek Davidson was shot and killed on Luella Avenue. Police say they also found a car and several homes with bullet holes. Now, if you have any information on either shooting, you're asked to call either this number you see here behind me that connection to the detectives, or if you want to stay anonymous, you can call Miami Valley Crime Stoppers at 222-STOP. And a man behind bars tonight after a standoff in Huber Heights. It happened yesterday afternoon just before 6 o'clock at a home on Calm Crest Court near Taylorsville Road. Police say officers were responding to reports of a domestic violence call when an armed suspect barricaded himself inside. 3 hours later, that suspect surrendered peacefully and was arrested. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Well, finally saw some rainfall across the Miami Valley today. Scattered showers, including some heavier rain at times. That was mainly yesterday. We had some higher totals north of I-70, but thankfully a little bit more rain across the region today. A few more showers, as you can see, moving through the Richmond area, heading into Darke County, and we'll continue with some light showers over these next couple of hours. But heading overnight, early tomorrow, we will be tracking some bigger rain chances. With this area of low pressure making its way through, it will bring the chance for showers, some storms, some heavier areas of rain, and even potentially some stronger storms. So for kids heading to the bus stop tomorrow, pack the rain gear, some showers, maybe even a steady rain in the morning, followed by scattered storms in the afternoon. Can't rule out a stronger storm too, so I'm going to time out that potential coming up here in just a little bit.
Well, the expansion of the Carriage Trails neighborhood in Huber Heights has been a controversial topic now for months. And tonight, the city took another step forward, approving the rezoning and the basic development plan. Jenna Lee Bork now live with us in studio after attending that meeting. So, Jenna Lee, how did that go?
Yeah, Elise, well, the land had to be rezoned from agricultural use to mixed use now that the almost 300 acres that was farmland will be turned into a development called Carriage Trails 2. The city council held a public hearing tonight, and there's still concern from the community.
I'm very saddened because you're coming out on my road, challenging my lifestyle, my 4,800 residents of Bethel Township, the Bethel School, Miami County. This will destroy us.
That place is going to be so packed, overcrowded, congested, and then given the issues we already have with 201 and 202, the congestion that we're seeing there, we need to put a stop on this. My suggestion is that this rezoning gets put off.
I just want to say, remember that this is nearly 300 acres of farmland that we'll never get back again.
Community members speaking passionately during the Huber Heights City Council meeting, wanting changes before the rezoning and basic development plan were approved. The expansion started with an annexation of Bethel Township. Huber Heights' Mayor Jeff Gore says the process took over 2 years.
We've heard lots of things from, residents who aren't happy from the Bethel area that we were taking their land and things like that. But that's not the case. The property owners in Bethel wanted to sell that property. They put it up for sale, and then the developers purchased that, and they've actually asked for annexation.
The land is close to 300 acres directly behind what's now known as carriage trails. One concern community members have is what it will do to Bethel Township schools and traffic overall. Gore explained who will be responsible for what services.
The annexed property that's carriage trails, it resides in Miami County. It's within the city of Huber Heights. They pay Huber Heights city taxes, Huber Heights water, Huber Heights EMS services, all the provided services there, but it's serviced by the Bethel School District. Fire and police is still city of Huber Heights.
Another vote on Monday having to do with carriage trails was the passage of an ordinance in the amount of $6 million. Gore explaining that's not money going toward the expansion, but rather for what has already been built.
That is a reimbursement to the developer for money that was actually spent in Carriage Trails 1. They took on the debt of the large parkway that was built, that the city built when that was first done, it was going to be a golf course.
Tonight, the rezoning and basic development plan passed 6-2. The development is expected to take 10 to 15 years to build, and Mayor Gore says he hopes this expansion will help with some of the housing demands there will be as the Air Force Base grows. Back to you.
Desperately trying to find solutions, fights causing issues at several places in downtown Dayton. What's being done to stop them?
Plus, more rain on the way. I'll let you know when you could use your umbrella. That's coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Welcome, everybody. It's Throwbacks.
Dayton police are now saying there has been a rise in fights with teens in downtown Dayton now that school is back in session. There's been an influx, they say, in teens gathering between the hours of 3 and 6 p.m. Lydia Bice went to some of those locations where they're seeing more of those teens and shares what they're doing to keep everyone safe.
The main branch of the Dayton Metro Library and the RTA Hub in downtown Dayton see a lot of teenagers between the hours of 3 and 6 p.m. on weekdays, which is why they've increased security and have Dayton police officers on the premises, like you can see here at the library behind me right now. Now, this all really began once things went back to normal after the COVID-19 pandemic.
I would say that right after COVID, it may have been as frequent as every day. When school was letting out, but I would say now we're down to maybe one a week.
However, the Dayton Metro Library has been trying to turn that post-pandemic